I am engineer Anfas. I'm a chartered civil engineer. Actually, the purpose of the presentation is the student who are in financial to attend classes and unable to join classes physically, and those who are interested to study physics, then they may can follow the classes and this channel. Okay, we start the introduction to physics. If you go back to human history, we can see that most discoveries which are useful to human development are based on science, information networks, electric communication media, which is spread around the world, transform the whole community as staying in a small village. Transform the whole community as staying in a small village. Science is the basis of all miracles in medicine and the development of modern technology. It is not an exaggeration to say that the discoveries in physics are conspicuous. Okay, physics is involved in constructing instruments from electron microscopes which can be used to see viruses clearly. The electron microscopes we can use to see viruses, even the viruses clearly, for which light microscope with even a higher magnification cannot be used. For which the light microscope with even a higher magnification cannot be used. But in the electron microscope, which we can use to see even the viruses also very clearly. To the Hubble telescope, which can be used to see originating and diminishing stars at far distances in the universe. These instruments help widen the vision range of humans. Okay, let's say because of the discoveries in physics, man who traveled by a cart at the very beginning developed the transport facilities to travel by a Concorde airplane. In the earlier ancient time, the first transport facilities, not the first one, the ancient time they may used the cart as a transport facility. Now it is become a Concorde airplane because of the physics, which exceeds the speed of sounds. The Concorde plane, it is going more than the speed of sound. Physics is directly involved with constructing instruments such as infrared binoculars, which are used for far night vision. Let's say photograph taken in the dark by infrared rays, say 1.4A figure showing, that is the photograph taken in the dark by infrared rays. And also high pressure water jets used to cut concrete, making a nozzle. They are reducing the area of the nozzle and increasing the velocity. Let's say this the nozzle, the area of the water flowing at this level is A1 and V1 is here, and this stage is A2 and let's say V2. By the continuity theory, the A1 later you will study. I just want to tell that how the laser jets are working. So A2 into V2. By the continuity theory, we can derive the formula A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. A1 is the area of the water flow, and the V1 is the velocity of that area, water flowing area, volume velocity of that water flow is equal to A2 into V2. It means the A2 is now reduced. A2 is now reduced in this stage. So to balance this value, what will happen? The velocity will increase. The velocity will increase. Thus, using the concept, the water jet is produced. Water jet is produced to cut the concrete. Okay. Next one is physics is the basis for discoveries that has led to development of the stethoscopes to modern medical device such as an ultrasound scan. The doctors are using stethoscopes develop the stethoscope to modern medical discoveries such as an ultrasound scan, CT scan, and MRI scan, which are used for diagnosis in medicine. Diagnosis in medicine. The contribution of discoveries of scientists. Actually, you have to know about the scientist's name and the discoveries of that particular scientists, because some of the past paper questions they asked the names of the inventions and the discoveries. So it's better to remind the name of the scientists and their discoveries. So the contribution of the discoveries of scientists in producing such excellent construction should be appreciated. In this connection, more service has been rendered by scientists such as Galileo, Newton, Robert Boyle, Albert Einstein, and Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking is the latest scientist. So, among the pioneer scientists who were responsible for important discoveries in the field of physics by performing experiments in physics, Galileo Galilei, the 1564 to 1642 can be the first to be mentioned. He is the one who discovered the characteristic properties of simple pendulum. Characteristic properties of simple pendulum. In the measurements, we will see what is the simple pendulum and the characteristic properties, which led to revolutionary changes in measuring time. Yes, because of the simple pendulum, the times also measured. So, which led to revolutionary changes in measuring time. The service done by him for future advancement of physics was more important because of the discoveries of such principles of motion and Galilean telescope. There is a Galilean telescope also he is founded, is discovered, also taking very advanced feature in the physics. So his 1.6 is the Galileo Galilei, and 1.7 the figure is Sir Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton is in 1642 to 1727, the 17th century, can be introduced as a great scientist who contributes to a large number of discoveries in physics. Amongst his discoveries, gravitation, basic concepts of calculus, which transformed mathematics in a new way, and the discovery of color components of sunlight can be considered to be important. So he is the one, so gravitation, basic concepts of calculus, and the color components of sunlight also can be considered to be important in his discoveries. The fourth one is Robert Boyle is 1627 to 1691. He also lived in this period of time, did research relating to gases, and the basic discoveries that followed is more in chemistry, though outlined in the work of physics. We call ideal gases of the behaviors of the ideal gases. Those we will study in more detail in chemistry, but though it is outlined in the physics also. Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955, produced the modern constructive concept of special theory of relativity. We will see later the relativity theories and all, which even changed the former accepted theories to explain day-to-day activities and experiments in physics. In 20th century, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Modern Mathematical Physics and the photoelectric effect. So, 1.8 figure, the picture is showing his picture. So Albert Einstein, and the figure 1.9 is the Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking clearly understood and managed to explain black holes that even most recent astronomical scientists were unable to explain as a very high gravitational field using physical and the mathematical principles and concepts. Light and other electromagnetic waves were considered until recent times to be continuous flowing of energy. A phenomenon like photoelectric effect cannot be explained using wave nature of light only. The phenomenon like a photoelectric effect we cannot explain without nature of light, nature of using the wave nature of the light. So as a solution for these problems, Max Planck introduced the quantum theory. Quantum theory, we can study later the quantum theory. What is quantum theory? According to this idea, his idea, when an electron falls from an outer orbit of an atom to an inner orbit, a packet of energy released as a quantum, which is equal to the different energy between the two levels. The electron, it is in the excited level, falling into the ground level, ground state, then it will emit a packet of energy. It's called release as a quantum. So this is the major, the Max Planck. Max Planck is introduced the quantum theory in 19th century. The figure is, the photograph is Max Planck's photograph. Physics rapidly developed from various discoveries. Physics rapidly developed from various discoveries and theories presented by different scientists. The basic foundation for this development was the scientific method adapted for this. It is important for a person who studied science to have an understanding about the scientific method, collecting information and knowledge through experiences in a formal way by observing the nature can be considered a basic step. A person who studies a science to have understanding about the scientific method should collect the information, knowledge through experiences in the formal way by observing the nature can be considered as a basic step. To explain those phenomena, he could observe hypotheses, principles, and laws have to be developed. So the models are being prepared which can explain these hypotheses and principles. The models are being prepared which can explain these hypotheses and principles. We will see that what is hypothesis and those things. To test the correctness of models, formal experimental methods can be applied. Predictions can be made by models using results obtained by experiments, and according to the progress of failure of them, models are developed using new experiences. This continuous development process is called the scientific method. Measurements done using a correct approach, measurements done using a correct approach is important in building most theories in physics. As such, we can consider measurement to be the foundation of physics. Measurement is the foundation of the physics. Why? The measurement is doing the correct approach. It is important in building of most theories in physics. Otherwise, we cannot define a quantity without a measurement.